Jasmine stood on the crowded street corner, her heart pounding in her chest. The sun was setting over Manila, casting a golden glow on the bustling city. She checked her phone, her fingers trembling slightly. Paolo's message flashed on the screen. "You ready for this, Jazz?" "Stick to the plan. We need the money." She shoved the phone back into her purse, the words ringing in her mind. Stick to the plan. But deep down, a knot of unease tightened in her stomach. This was supposed to be simple. Meet David, the foreigner with deep pockets, charm him, make him fall in love. Fake it for as long as it took. The money would flow in, and her family wouldn't have to struggle anymore. Paolo said it was foolproof. But now, standing here on the verge of meeting David, doubt crept in. "Jasmine," a voice called out, pulling her from her thoughts. She turned, her eyes locking onto the man who approached with a warm, easy smile. David. He was taller than she remembered from his photos, his light brown hair tousled by the breeze. His kind blue eyes seemed to see right through her, making her heart race for reasons she couldn't quite place. She forced a smile, reminding herself of the plan. "You're doing this for your family." Over the next few weeks, Jasmine played her role flawlessly. She laughed at David's jokes, listened to his stories about life back in the States, and let him spoil her with gifts. Each time Paolo asked if the money was coming, she reassured him it would be soon. But something was changing, and it terrified her. David wasn't like she had expected. He wasn't just another naive foreigner looking for a pretty face. He was sincere, caring, and, worst of all, he seemed to be falling for her completely. Jasmine felt the walls she'd built around her heart begin to crumble with every dinner date, every late-night conversation under the stars. One night, after a dinner at a fancy restaurant, David surprised her with a gift. It was a delicate silver necklace, simple but elegant, and when he placed it around her neck, she felt her heart flutter in a way that had nothing to do with the money. As they walked back to her apartment, the guilt became unbearable. Every laugh, every touch, it had all been a lie. But now, she found herself yearning for something she hadn't felt before. What if I'm falling for him? The thought made her chest tighten. Back home, Paolo was waiting, his expression dark. "Where's the money, Jas?" "He's rich, right? What's taking so long?" Jasmine hesitated. She had grown to hate these conversations with Paolo, his cold, calculating tone. The man she once thought she loved had become someone she barely recognized. I need more time," she stammered, but Paolo wasn't satisfied. "You're getting too close to him," he snapped, grabbing her arm. "You remember why you're doing this, right? It's not for love, it's for us, your family, Jasmine." The words stung. Us? Jasmine realized that us meant something very different to Paolo than it did to her. That night, she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, her thoughts spinning. The plan that had seemed so clear, so easy, now felt like a noose tightening around her neck. David had become more than just a target. He was someone she genuinely cared about, and the thought of hurting him crushed her. But how could she tell him the truth? How could she face him knowing she had been deceiving him all along? The next day, as she met David at their usual cafe, she knew something had to give. Her hands were clammy as she stirred her coffee, her pulse racing. David leaned across the table, his eyes filled with affection. "Jasmine, I've been thinking a lot lately. I don't want to waste any more time. I'm falling in love with you." His words hit her like a punch to the gut. This was it, the moment she had dreaded. I need to tell you something," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Her hands trembled as she set her coffee cup down, unable to meet his gaze. "David, this hasn't been real." He frowned, confusion clouding his face. "What do you mean?" Jasmine's throat felt tight, but she pushed through. "When we met, it wasn't an accident. Paolo, my boyfriend, he convinced me to do this, to fake my feelings for you, for the money." David's face paled, the warmth in his eyes turning cold. You're saying this was all a lie? That you were just using me? Tears welled up in her eyes, her chest heavy with shame. At first, yes. But it's not like that anymore. I swear, David, I never meant to hurt you. I've fallen for you. I don't care about the money anymore. There was a long, excruciating silence. Jasmine's heart raced as she waited for him to speak, to storm off, to leave her life forever. But when David finally spoke, his voice was calm, too calm. I knew something was off from the start, Jasmine. I could feel it, but I hoped it was real. She looked up, her vision blurred by tears. I'm so sorry. I never thought this would happen. I never thought I'd fall in love with you. David stood, his expression unreadable. I don't know if I can trust you again. You lied, Jasmine. You used me. Jasmine's heart shattered. She wanted to beg him to stay, to forgive her, but the words wouldn't come. She watched as he walked away, his figure disappearing into the crowd. For the first time in her life, Jasmine felt truly alone. The plan had fallen apart and she had lost everything. David, her future, and the person she thought she was. Weeks passed, and Jasmine tried to move on. But one evening, as she sat on the beach watching the sun dip below the horizon, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned to see David standing there, his eyes searching hers. I've been thinking, he said softly, about us, about everything. I don't know if I can forget what you did, but maybe we can start over. No lies this time. Jasmine's heart leaped with hope, her tears falling freely. I don't deserve you, David smiled sadly. Maybe not, but we can try, can't we? In that moment, with the waves crashing softly against the shore, Jasmine realized that love, real love, wasn't something you could fake. And sometimes, even in the darkest of plans, light could find a way to shine through.